Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. So while everybody is looking to Alaska at the Trump Vladimir Putin peace summit, right? That's where all the news is focused. That's what everybody's talking about, tweeting about. That's what all the news are covering. Behind the scenes, there are grand juries. Behind the scenes, there are indictments. Behind the scenes, there is prison for treason. The Trump administration is putting down the hammer, and they are going after these criminals, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to cover all of that right now. Do me a huge favor. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button right now. Leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from today? And make sure that you are subscribed if you are a MAGA patriot, freedom-loving American who supports Trump like I do. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. And really quickly, before we continue, just a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Verity Metals. I always shout them out, ladies and gentlemen. Verity Metals, precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, gold. They protect your IRA, 401k, and everything in between. Call or text 888-328-6105 with links down below in the description. Tell them that I sent you, Vlad sent you, for free silver on your next order. Let's go. Now, as you all know, before an indictment comes, there needs to be a grand jury. Well, listen to this.
Listen to the way you opened your show. There's no better description of what the conspiracy is. It's a conspiracy to protect potential Democrats from potential criminal prosecution and then to violate the civil liberties and privacy and reputations of innocent Republicans to create an alternate story to protect political interest, meaning what's going to happen in the election. That's what it is. It's not more complicated. And I know people say, oh, a conspiracy case is going to be complicated. No, it's really not. We protected Democrats. And the cycle is Hillary has two problems. Email, now corruption. We can prove that was active at the time. Hunter Biden's got corruption and taxes. And by the way, the first evidence of that comes in March through May of 2016. And then 2019, it's Hunter Biden a lot more. And so we impeached the president and we have the government actually creating stories that I think we will prove were false. And then in 21, they find Joe Biden's classified documents at UPenn office in Washington and his garage. And they got to make Donald Trump look like he's the classified guy first before they can let the cat out of the bag that Joe Biden has the same problem. It's a wash, rinse, and repeat cycle. And in the course of that, two potential crimes are occurring. Obstruction of legitimate investigations. Those are overt acts of a conspiracy. And then the violation of innocent people's civil liberties to create a political ruse. That is where I believe the grand conspiracy case is headed. I believe that there are multiple grand juries that have begun work around this country in multiple jurisdictions outside of Washington where evidence is now being gathered.
You do? I do. Can report that, or you have reason to believe that?
Nope, I have confirmed witnesses and who've had contact with the grand jury. So there are grand jurors in multiple locations. Some of those are in Virginia. I believe one is going to begin based on early discussions in Pennsylvania. There may be one in New York. And so the activity has begun. And the question now is, and those are probably not going to be the indicting locations. I think the more likely thing is you use multiple grand juries just to make it easy to gather lots of information quickly. That's the way strike forces work. And then you keep working from there. But there are multiple locations where pieces of this are being looked at. And maybe the grand jurors don't even know it's a grand conspiracy, just looking at some of the overt acts in one of these chapters of this sad story. But that is going on. And I think it's going to be a process, right? It's going to be a 6-month process. I don't know the reason yet. I wish I knew. I don't know the reason. I mean, there's lots. It could be related to the 2020 election.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
Yeah. So we don't know yet. I just know that certain witnesses have been contacted about acceptance of grand jury subpoenas, and they're in different locations. So the process is beginning, but it's a long process. And, we won't know a lot about if the Justice Department does the right thing. Unlike the Obama and Biden Justice Departments that leaked anything, the grand jury process will be unbelievably secret and will be masked from it because that's the way the process is supposed to work. In the meantime, we have an opportunity through the Freedom of Information Act and through our purchase as reporters to go out and try to get the story for the American people so they can understand why this is going on. The Democrats who didn't care about going after a president when it was the Republican are going to start crying, this is payback, this is retribution. We need Americans to understand it's not payback and retribution. There are legitimate legal questions here.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, smash that thumbs up button right now. It really helps with the algorithm. I fight an uphill battle. Well, you heard it there, right, from him on the Kelly show. But now we have a more respected and trusted source that there are grand juries. New grand jury deliberations are underway for deep state Russiagate suspects. Comer, House Oversight Chairman James Comer on Thursday told Fox News host Maria Bartiromo, I always have a difficulty pronouncing her last name, Bartiromo, that grand jury deliberations are underway for the deep state Russia hoax suspects. Earlier this month, it was reported that U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered an unnamed federal prosecutor to present evidence to a grand jury in the Russia collusion hoax in response to a criminal referral from DNI Tulsi Gabbard. Just the News founder John Solomon said sources are telling him the grand jury could be in Florida, where President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was raided. A source close to the Mar-a-Lago raid also told the Gateway Pundit that the grand jury may be in Florida. Last week, it was unclear if a grand jury had been impaneled. However, on Thursday evening, Comer said he is hearing that grand jury deliberations are underway.
Your colleague in the House, I mean, he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee at one point. Now he's a senator. There's been no accountability. Why should we expect any accountability anywhere?
Well, this is the opportunity that conservatives have been waiting for a long time. Now we have people like John Radcliffe, who, along with Devin Nunes, have been saying this was what was taking place for a long time. Now, with access to the National Archives, we have the evidence in the form of emails to prove this is what's happening. It's up to Pam Bondi now to take this evidence and hold people accountable. And if for whatever reason, people like Adam Schiff and
Pam, he's talking to you.
To prove this is what's happening, it's up to Pam Bondi now to take this evidence and hold people accountable. And if for whatever reason, people like Adam Schiff and Clapper and Comey and Christopher Wray, if they get by with what they've done and are never held accountable, I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment among conservatives, because we've sat back and we've watched this happen over the last 5 to 8 years, and nothing's happened. Now the evidence is clear. It's time to hold people accountable. It's my understanding, Maria, that there are grand jury deliberations taking place. It's my understanding that the Department of Justice is serious about taking this evidence that's emerged and holding these people accountable. And I certainly hope that's what happens.
Well, what do you know about the statute of limitations? Because John Ratcliffe, the CIA director now, joined me just last week and told me that when you're talking about conspiracy, it does not, a 5-year statute of limitations does not apply. And, you know, it begins, the timing begins on the last time you, quote unquote, conspired. And if they're still lying about it today, I mean, we had another bombshell disclosure by FBI Director Kash Patel just this week, new whistleblower testimony, accusing Congressman Adam Schiff, then Congressman, now Senator, of approving a 2017 plan to leak classified information in an effort to damage President Trump's.
So, okay, we know what she's talking about. Really, before I continue to more developments, right, of Letitia James, there's a grand jury into her. Now, these people need to be held accountable. People need to be arrested. These people need to be in prison yesterday. See, while Donald Trump is out trying to settle war, trying to bring peace to the world, back home, his team is finally doing work. Now, I have an opinion as to why there are multiple grand juries, like he said, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Florida, because I believe the evidence that now they have, that they haven't released to us yet, is that the Obama administration with Hillary Clinton and the deep state actors committed crimes in that attempted coup against President Donald Trump in so many different states that they're just having a grand jury in every single state. Okay, New York doesn't want to. Virginia will. If Virginia grand jury doesn't want to indict him, Pennsylvania will. If Pennsylvania doesn't want to, Florida will for sure. For sure. I got more to show you. Big development. House GOP conference chairwoman Ellis Stefanik demands Attorney General Pam Bondi launch a full investigation into Standard Chartered Bank's terrorist financing and Letitia James in explosive scandal. As we all know, there is already a grand jury in investigation into Letitia James for mortgage and bank fraud. But now apparently it looks like in her state, while she was supposed to watch these banks, sanctioned countries and terror organizations were sending money to each other under her watch, which is a massive crime. Now, there is one. Now, I want you to look at this way. This is a small fish in a big swamp. But this is the beginning. Democrat South Carolina clerk of court has been indicted on 10 counts of corruption, embezzlement, and ethics violations, stole over $119,000 from taxpayers, including child services. Now, why do even the little indictments matter? And I'm going to wrap up with this. Texas. Ken Paxton started doing election investigation into election fraud about 7 months ago. And 3 months ago, it's already August. 5 months ago, back in April, he indicted 6 people. 3 were elected officials and 3 were their staff for illegal ballot harvesting, right? Paying people to vote a certain way. Well, last week, he indicted 9 more people. So the tally is up to 15. He started with small city council members. He just arrested a state judge, a state congressman. You know why the little fish matter? Because when you arrest the little fish in the big swamp and you put pressure on their neck and tell them you are going to go to prison for a long, long time, you know what they do? They snitch. They try to get a deal. Same with North Carolina Democrat. She's going to squeal. When the grand jury indictments come in, and when we see Obama, Hillary Clinton, and all these other dirtbags started being indicted, they're going to start snitching on the other ones. Do you know what Hillary Clinton said about Donald Trump yesterday? She said that if Donald Trump makes peace in Ukraine, because according to her, she thinks he's the only one that can, she personally will nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Hillary Clinton said that about Donald Trump. Why do you think she's talking so nice? Why do you think she's so kind? Everyone knows Trump not only deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, but he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. She's talking that way because she knows she's screwed, she's in trouble, and she's trying to get some favor. That's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to show you, you probably guys all seen this, but, here's the video.
In fact, did you see that Hillary Clinton yesterday said that if you got this deal done and not capitulate to Putin, that she would nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize?
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that was very nice. I may have to start liking her again.
In fact, did you see that Hillary Clinton...
I don't know if you guys saw, Zelensky arrived unannounced and jumped on the stage, pissed off. That's the president of peace right there, ladies and gentlemen. President of peace. Check this out. When I say the president of peace, Cambodian monks thank President Trump for ending the war between Cambodia and Thailand. Watch this.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciations for your instrumental role in bringing about the recent ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand. The border conflict, which had escalated recently.
Did you see that on CNN, MSNBC, or even Fox News? Have you seen that video of Cambodian monks thanking President Donald Trump for peace? No, they don't want to cover that. They don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you how much the world appreciates President Donald Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, to wrap all of this up, with these grand juries happening, I do 50-50 believe we are going to get, we're going to get peace with Ukraine. And I think we're going to see these crooks, these criminals arrested. I do think there's enough evidence. Here's why, and I'm going to ask you to pray. This is my prayer. And if you're a Christian like myself, this should be your prayer too. That the grand jury, the prosecution, and the judge have enough courage because they will be attacked by the media, by the left, by the radical extreme triple K Democrats, so that they have enough courage to do the right thing. The evidence is there. The evidence to have these people indicted and arrested is there. Now we need courageous people to stand up to the plate and do it. Ladies and gentlemen, share this video with a friend or two. Subscribe. God bless you. I'll see you soon.